The words of one friend in Yangon, spoken a while back, they still resonate in my mind. He asked me, how can I make people feel what it's actually like here now? Because beyond all the details of events and circumstances, he found that it was just exceedingly difficult to portray the actual feeling that life in Myanmar has taken on in all these years since the coup. My friend's question, it informs every interview we take at Inside Myanmar podcast, where we not only provide a safe and understanding space for our guests to tell their stories, but we also try to relate the feeling of what life has become there. We call on listeners to join us in bearing witness to this and opening up with empathy to the reality of the terror that persists for some people there. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Moe Thae Say, thank you for joining us on this episode of Inside Myanmar podcast.
Thank you for having me here today. So I can say that I was born and raised in the middle class family. So I didn't really have to struggle as much. In the city, in Yangon, I can just have a comfortable life and stuff like that. And my career was like a digital creator, especially in the digital marketing agency. My position was a creative director in the in-house agency, and that's it. So after that, COVID happened. And in the pandemic, we just stopped working and going to the office and stuff like that, and we just have done work from home. And after that, I started my own business because by the time I have got a kind of mental issue, and my therapist just asked me to do something to boost my mood. So my therapy, she just asked me to do something I can really dealing with my hands. So I do crafts. So I do crafts out of concrete. I use cement and other ingredients and do a decorative items and handmade decorative items. And this is we can say one of the very first concrete making decorative items in Myanmar. So my small business, I can say that my small business was really doing good and stuff like that. And after that, the coup happened in January. And, I actually, I didn't really participate that much. I wasn't a person the coup is happening, I have to go and join the armed force and stuff like that. No, I wasn't that kind of really.
Were you political at all before the coup?
Not really. But, in 2015 and 16, I was a journalist. And in Yangon, so I used to, know about the political stuff and, stuff like that. But I wasn't really active person in politicals and, those kind of stuff. But after the coup, I just keep going with my small business. It was doing great. Even after the coup, it was just doing great. And I started support the revolutionists and the people who joined the Spring Revolution. I just, I can make money out of my small business. So I just raised fund for them and stuff like that. And days by days, I have got like unsafe, feeling unsafe living in Yangon, because like involving in that kind of stuff and revolutions, you know, the Myanmar military they just trace me, and they just try to close my bank accounts and stuff like that. So I was like really need to move out of my home country. So I just moved out to Thailand, and I had already had a team, like my friends before. We were like very good friends, and now after the coup in the revolution, they really actively joined in the armed force and stuff like that. So I just connected with them, and I just went to I just went to them and joined in their force, I can say, like in their force. One of my friends was in the force, so I joined with him in the People Defense Force for like 3-4 months, and I've got like a combat training. And after that, you know, I have heard about the other friends. They are doing like a rescue team. They are doing the volunteer in the rescue team of Free Burma Ranger. So I was like very interested in it. So I would just stop doing as a servicewoman over there, and I joined again with my friends, and you know, I helped them. Actually, like I wasn't really doing things in the front line, but I was in the back line supporting them to make everything okay, even for the fundraising and stuff like that. And you know, after that, I have got my medical condition. Like my heart wasn't really good to stay over there, and also my therapist, like she said, like I have to just forget about the revolution for even a little while, and get comfortable for a little bit, because my mental situation was worse, and my heart couldn't really hold like for airstrikes and you know again fire and stuff like that. So I have decided that I'm gonna come to Thailand again and have a rest for a little while. Yeah.
That's quite a story. I mean, let's take it piece by piece. So you initially joined a PDF unit and you underwent combat training. I mean, that's no small thing. You're from a middle-class family in an urban environment, Bamar background, digital marketing, your own business entrepreneur, to go from that lifestyle, which I think that lifestyle is not so far off of many of our listeners in whatever places they are in the world, just a different context, to go to that lifestyle to undergoing combat training in the jungle, fighting a professional military. I mean, that's some serious stuff. So, you know, tell us a bit about the experience of combat training. And then did you actually, after the training, did you actually have experience of taking part in any exercises?
Yeah. And the training was like about like 2 months. I was in the camp, and you know, they just took all of our phones, and you know, we were just disconnected in the middle of the jungle. So I was kind of like a little nervous over there. And you know, starting from the training life, they asked us to do like a sort of like exercises, like trainings and stuff like that. They just taught us like how to fight back, and how to use the guns and stuff.
Who is they?
They like, I mean, like the trainers from the forces. We can say like it's like from the PDF, not technical armed force.
So PDF senior trainers, we can say.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. And I have like 2 trainers over there. So 2 trainers are from the Myanmar military, because like they just did the CDM.
Defectors.
And, joined the force. So they just you know, I can say like I had a chance to learn like how professional Myanmar military work. Because like all of my trainers, like they are CDM trainers, and they are soldiers. So in the Myanmar military, so I can learn, and I can know like how Myanmar military actually work, like you know how, you know, what kind of weapons they are using, what kind of like unity they are having and stuff like that. They can share a lot of things over there, and you know, they give us trainings and exercise and everything in 2 months, and it was really, I can say like challenging. And for me, like I only you know, I'm not really fit for because like, I have a lot of medical condition in my body. So I have tried like my best, but sometimes I got sick. I took the sick leave for maybe like half a day or a day. There would be like there were included like 7 women a month, 60 people. So 53 was men and 7 was women. I've got a lot of experience, military, we can say like military is such a kind of like man thing. People say like military and, fighting back and the kind of like being a serviceman or soldiers is a kind of man thing. So there was like a little bit of discrimination over there. We have to train like, dividing in the groups, like 3-4 people in one group, or maybe like in some practice, there would be like 10 people in one group. So in that kind of group exercise and trainings, like they wanted to put all the women together in one group. And they just says like, oh, it's okay. If you couldn't really participate, it doesn't matter. So most of the women over there didn't really want that. They want to participate and they want to achieve as the men did. So, we got a little bit of like conversation between the women and the trainers, because we have to participate amongst the men. Like maybe like 1 woman in one group, and there would be 7 groups. Yeah. Not really put all the women in one group, and like we can just lose or fail or anything. It's okay. We didn't count, so we didn't want that. We want to be count on, and we want to be like achieved, like men do. So we had to do like a little bit of conversation between the trainers, but it was okay because like they understand, and okay, like they were like, okay, so if you say so, and if you guys really think guys can really do that, and you guys are really want to do that, so we're gonna separate like that. So in the end, everything was okay. In the beginning, like they don't really want to put all together in one group, or they just want to separate us, besides against the man. So that's the thing, but not like a quite problems. But we can handle that, and the trainers is very understanding. So yeah.
There may be people in America or some other country that haven't really seen a gun or used a gun if they come from a certain background, but guns are out there in society. But when you're coming from a middle-class background in Myanmar, you cannot go out and acquire a gun in any legal way. And so for many Bamar people, especially that aren't associated with the ethnics or that don't have a connection with the military, they've never physically actually seen the hardware of a gun or a weapon of some kind. And so do you remember your experience of when you just simply first saw the physical hardware of a gun and then you held it and used it in training?
Yeah, it was like very challenging because like, I haven't really seen any guns in my life before, and I didn't even heard any like gunfire or anything before in my life. First I saw them, I can say that I didn't dare to touch. I was like afraid of it. What if like something happens?
Yeah.
So the trainer just give us like first of all like they just give us a fake one. We have to cut the tree and make a thing look like a gun, and we have to carry it and do the exercise to know the weight of the gun before we use the real gun. So after that, we used to the weight of this, and after that they just show us and taught us like how to use the gun and what is this and how is this operated and stuff like that. And I have got like shoot the guns in the field. Everybody has to shoot it. It's like 4 times. Like I have to shoot 4 times in a row. There will be like a target, and in the 4 place, one place, and I have to shoot 4 times. And I was like very nervous, like the gun was like very heavy, and I have to hold it, and I have to pull the trigger, but there was a trainer beside me. And after shooting that and after finishing that training, the trainer told me that your heartbeat is louder than the gunfire. Because I was like so nervous.
I know. I remember hearing about Olympic sharpshooters and how they have to control their breathing and their heart rate, because when you're doing long distance shooting, even just the subtle breath, the subtle heartbeats can change the trajectory of holding the weapon.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't shoot the right target. Even 4 times I tried because, I was like so nervous,
Yeah.
And before the day I got sick, so I took a leave. So I didn't really get it, proper trainings before that day. And I was like weak a little bit. And even when we were like, getting the line to do like a shooting, there were like a fighter, I guess, or fighter or something. I don't really remember that. Fighter or something just come around. So we was like going and hide for a little bit and check the situation. Like, is this really they really do the strike or not? Just checking around. After that we have to come back to the field and get a line again and shoot again. Do the training again. So I was weak and I got kind of like afraid because of the airstrikes and stuff like that. I wasn't really able to focus.
Yeah.
And my heartbeat was louder than the
Sure.
gunfire.
Did you ever have a sense when you were doing it of like, I'm a city girl, what have I gotten myself into, and having this kind of self-doubt, or did you just have real self-determination all the way through?
Yeah, the thing was like, actually, I can say that, I have got a great career in my life.
Yeah.
Starting from like 20 years old, and I make my own money. I started my own business and stuff like that. And my parents, like, they don't really need anything from me. I didn't have to support them. They got enough, so I can live freely. So in that kind of life, I have got a lot of friends from the elite class. We caught up. And we did clubbing, we did the partying, and I have a connection with them. I work with them, and I worked for like companies like many mobile phone company, many cars company. I do the advertising, and so I have got a lot of those class, friends from those class. So after that, I changed my mind, and I couldn't really feel that civilians are suffering over there, and we were like we can just stay in, nothing happened in the city. So I joined over there, and but the thing is, like, those friends before is still friends on my Facebook and social media account. So whenever I use my phone and my social media, I can see them like they are just normalized and enter the dictatorship in the city.
Going to cafes and restaurants
just
and
do
parks
partying and stuff like that. So I was like thinking, why they couldn't see, most of the people, in the villages, they just dying and nobody knows. And even because of the airstrikes, some kids, we couldn't even collect the bodies, and they just like spread around, and we couldn't even find where is the leg, where is the hands.
You were personally doing that?
No, not really. We could see in the media,
Ah, okay.
because of the airstrikes, to the school and stuff like that. Most of the kids, they just die, and the civilians, that the parents didn't really collect their body parts and stuff like that. They can also see on the social media, even like if they don't want to come and see, and they can get information, but they didn't really care, and they didn't really watch them, and they were like, they all have money and society, friends, family, and everything, and the military dictatorship didn't really affect them.
But that could have been you. You could have made that choice. That road was open to you. Other people don't have that privilege. They don't have that choice.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because like I could also like live like that.
Yeah.
You
could be living like that now.
Yeah, even like if I live like that, I don't have to be here, And the thing is like, in 2019, I was trying to go to America and study again. And I just filled the form, and I got submission from the Phoenix College in Arizona. So I was like trying to get a visa over there. So I got a school submission, in Phoenix College, and I was even, just checking the flat, and I was like, carrying my dreams, like how is my life what in Arizona, Phoenix, and stuff like that. I can see the Grand Canyon and stuff like that, and but I just left everything. I couldn't really go to America right now. And some people say that I can still do if I fill the form, as I am a human rights defender and life in exile. So I can just ask for the country, to get asylum or anything. They just advised me, but I didn't really want to do that because I saw a lot of lives over there in the villages and in the rural area in jungle. There were like many people suffering. They didn't really know anything. They didn't even in the Mesa and Myawaddy, we can say. We can see like, we have to go to the viewpoint and see that, there will be like two parts. In the middle, there is just a river cross apart. But one side is very dark. No electricity, no internet, anything, it's just poor. And the other side, you can see the buildings, so modern, and electricity for 24 hours and everything, So just imagine it. The people from our country, they were like, just suffering from the dictatorship for many years, and now again the dictatorship. So we have to help out as much as we can. I'm not a superwoman or, anything, but I can do at least what I can do.
And so, through all of those hardships of being in such difficult conditions and doing things you'd never done before, did that determination always carry you through, or did you have moments of self-doubt or self-reflection, just given the difficulty of the path that you chose?
Sure, I have. Because I sometimes, when I was in the jungle over there, and I was being in the medical condition, my heart wasn't really good, and I got like a aching in my chest, and everything, and I was like getting the rest, and so I was like thinking, when would it be end?
Right.
It's been like 4.5 years now.
It's half a decade.
Yeah, and then I was like here, and doing like having a condition, medical condition, and and I lost my friends and I lost my parents, and I couldn't really go back to my home. And the thing was like I was always thinking like I have got 2 dogs, over there in my home. So they were like 12 years now, and the dog lifetime was like 15 to 70 years. So I couldn't really see them again anymore. So whenever like I'm thinking all of those things, when I was alone, I having the doubt that, am I really right doing that? Or maybe we are wrong and the military was right.
You had those thoughts sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Really?
No, not about the political issues, but sometimes there is like how it is called, conspiracy theory or something.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Conspiracy theory that we are only the bacteria, on the list, and stuff like that, and we are like in the laboratory of the aliens and stuff like that. So I just think like that.
All kinds of crazy ideas are coming to your mind when, well, that makes sense. I mean, when you're in an extreme environment, you don't know what's going to come to your mind. Yeah.
Over there, like there was no internet, and I have to go like a lot of miles to get an internet and to get a connection and to talk to some people. And we didn't have electricity, and then nothing. Like it was like very silent at night. So I was like, kind of like going crazy, and also like my mental situation wasn't really good even before the coup.
Yeah.
I was having like a PTSD for like now 7 years because of my personal situation. So
a PTSD prior to something from prior to the coup.
Yeah, before the coup.
I see.
Yeah. So all of the conditions like body, like physically and mentally conditions, and even the silence at night and the airstrikes and everything. I was thinking, like because I like to watch and read about the conspiracy theories a lot. So I was like, what if we were wrong? or maybe like they were right or something like that, So all of my friends were like, you are not okay anymore. You have to go out and have a rest for a little bit, or you are going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a therapist too. I mean, therapy is pretty new to Myanmar. Your therapist was Burmese?
Yes,
Yeah.
she was Burmese.
Yeah.
And I usually took for a psychiatrist and taking the medicines. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of burden and background you're taking with you to the jungle.
Yeah. That's why, most of my, I can say like most of my people, like they didn't really support me to going over there because of my situation doesn't suit it over there. And, they were even say like, I couldn't really make it even for 1 month. I'm going to die, I'm going to go crazy, or I'm going to come back. But I came back.
Yeah.
Now, it's been some months, but, now it's like, I don't really think, oh, I'm comfortable here in the city and I'm going to do like some fundraising or human rights things in the city, and I'm not going back there. I didn't really think like that because I enjoyed it. I'm thinking that my life is kind of like meaningful over there, by doing things.
Sure.
And, I can teach the kids, some craft stuff, and, they want to know like things I can, sharing the knowledge and stuff like that, because like in that jungle, kids and, poor civilians over there are, struggling and suffering from everything. I can say like everything. Yeah. Whoever in the armed force, we have to go for the combat trainings. But as a woman in the armed force, like we didn't really have to get a chance to go for the mission or any front line. After the 2 months of combat trainings, we have to go back to backline again, and there will be like duties like medic training again, and we have to do like a medical. We can work in the medical team, or maybe we want to work in the office. There is like a backline office. We do like a finance, and office stuff like collecting documents and stuff like that. So most of the service women in the military, they just settle in the backline and doing like fundraising, doing like finance and office work, normally like that. So there will be like not really going to the mission, and going to the front line. No.
Did you want to go to the front line?
I did want to go to the front line, because whenever like I saw like my comrades, they just go for a front line and come back, and they will be like, when I'm seeing them, they will be like I don't know, I feel joy, and they will be like saying that, oh, we have this, yeah, we've got experience of that, and and how much they get succeed and stuff like that, So I was like, getting joy, and I was like want to participate, one of the group and going with them and do the things like that because, doing things like that. But as a woman, like it's not really proper because women amongst men wasn't really okay because like we have kind of like physical difference, and even to change clothes and stuff like that, we need a privacy. We couldn't just really sleep together on the floor and just changing the clothes in front of many people. We couldn't do that. So there would be like things like that. That's why we couldn't mix together and go like that. Yeah.
So you wanted to go to the front line, but you weren't allowed to.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to. Yes.
Yeah, right. But it must have been, going back to what you said about your male comrades who were coming back after a successful mission. It must have been really something. I don't even know how you put words to that. You're this student or you have a job somewhere from middle class or somewhere in an urban place, and this military is this age-old oppressor, this bully that just seems like you can never dream of beating back this bully. And then they're, after this combat training, they're going into the jungle and they're hitting the bully in the nose, and they're seeing that they have the morale and the ability to attack the bully and this oppressor that's been after them all their lives, and that they could actually hit back. So that must have been, pretty indescribable, whether you were on the front lines or whether you were supporting the front lines. That morale, that experience of seeing that you have this ability, you have this confidence, that must be pretty indescribable when that first started to happen.
Yeah, it was like very satisfying, I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, but the other part of that is that there is this human condition that no matter how much we might be oppressed by someone or might even hate someone, that to take another human life, it comes at a cost. You do give a part of yourself, whatever the reasons or justifications behind. And so, even though you weren't at the front lines and you didn't take a life, you were around those who did, and you may have been in a supportive capacity to enable that to happen. Was that something that you ever had to reconcile with, or that your comrades ever had to process?
Yes, sure thing, because it's not really easy, especially for the for the people for. It is not really easy for the people in the defense force, because they are not really well-trained, servicemen and soldiers, because they just join to the armed force, because they don't really like the dictatorship. Otherwise, they won't even dreamed of being, being as a soldier. So I have seen a lot of people over there getting a mental illness and PTSD stuff, and and most of my comrades, they couldn't even really sleep tight.
Really?
Because I can see they kill people.
Yeah.
So whenever they sleep and someone touch them, they are afraid of being killed. So we in our team, we have a rules, if we wanna wake someone up, we have to shout.
Really?
Yeah, hey, wake up, wake up. We don't really need to touch them.
Yeah.
Because they are always aware, even when they are sleeping. Because as I said, they were killing people, and they saw a lot of dead bodies and stuff like that, and they shot somebody in the front line. So in their unconsciousness, or maybe they are very afraid of being killed again. So they are always aware. So if we touch and unexpectedly, if we touch them and wake them up, they're gonna punch you or anything. They're gonna do that because they are always defense.
Yeah.
I was always in the back line, and I didn't really see the dead bodies how frontliners did.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's also traumatized, especially for the people from the back line. Was airstrikes. I was thinking, airplanes are beautiful, and I was feeling joy whenever I were traveling, and the last dream that I had before the coup was I'm gonna travel by plane to another country, but after that, everything changed, and I was in the position of afraid the airplanes again. And whenever I heard the engines run, I was nervous. I got fear, and I didn't really know what to do. I always pack my things beside me, even when I'm sleeping. When I was sleeping, I always put my shoes on, because it can come anytime, especially at night. Nights are terrible. There was silence, and sometimes the trainers and our team leaders, they ask us to just burn their fire and don't use any fire or anything, because they can see and they're gonna do the strikes, or they can detect there will be a team or group over there, so we're gonna spoil our location and stuff like that. So I was trying to get used to it in the dark, and do stuff in the dark, make a coffee in the dark, walk in the dark. So what I was doing was like, especially the thing is like using the toilet. Toilet was like a little bit far. So in the dark, I have my technique that I count my footsteps. Like the toilet was how many footsteps away from me.
Yeah.
So in the dark, I just go like that. And you know, so maybe like 15 footsteps. So there will be like toilet over there. So the darkness was like very terrible. And you know, after I experiencing all of that, and after I came back to the city, you know, when I see lights, you know, this is like very strange for me. It's been like many months that I didn't really feel the light at night. And when I got like a connection, internet connection again, you know, I checked my social media. Everything was like normal. All of my friends, they just have done a lot of things normally. And some of my friends, like, you know, they just posted on social media. Social media is really harmful. They just posted on social media that they got achievement from the office, you know, they got a bonus, you know, they just bought a car, bought an apartment. So I was like thinking, they are the same age as me. I am 30, they are 30, but they achieve in their life, you know, and many things, and they can just support their parents back. You know, even though like my family doesn't really need the support from me, I want to do like one or two things to my parents, you know. I just want to call them, and you know, and maybe I just want to gift them, you know, in their birthday, you know, and stuff like that. But actually I didn't really do, because I was like, everything is like struggling, you know, incomes, you know, everything. And even like I am in the position of getting the support from other people and organizations. So how could I support my family? And the other thing was like, I can do my job. I can restart it again, because like I came from the creative industry. I can do like designs, campaign, video editing and stuff, freelance over here. And I can just find the clients and do that, and I can make money, and I can support even if I want to. And if I get connected with them, I can just try to connect again and support them. But the thing was like, I was always thinking like, if I have done that and people know that I'm making money and supporting even to my societies, I mean like family or relatives or anyone, or maybe like if I buy something very like maybe like very expensive to my fiance, they might be thinking like, you know, oh, she is a human rights defender or something, or maybe like service woman, but how did she make money? So where the money comes from? So I don't really want to, you know, face that kind of questions, because like, you know, this is the ugly truth in our revolution is there is a lot of fraud in it. And some people, like, they just have done whatever they want to do. And so with money, when it comes to money, you know, people are like betrayed. So if someone come and ask me like, hey, where did you get those kind of money? Like, I don't really want to face that kind of questions. Like, no, you know, I just want to be like a pure human rights defender, you know, by making even for one life better. Even if I'm able to make one life better, I will do that, you know, but not that kind of things. So I wasn't really work again professionally. And, you know, the things is like, I do designs and stuff. So most of the pages to in the fundraising pages, you know, forces like promotion and, you know, campaign and projects, like they need like a lot of design ideas and stuff like that. So when I am able to do that, I have done for them, you know, design, social media designs, campaign designs, you know, like fundraising, you know, in my environment, like, hey, there is a case over there like that, you know, could you just contribute? That kind of stuff took all of my time. So I couldn't really work. I was trying to work once, but, you know, if I work and if I get a full-time job or something like that, I couldn't really able to do those kind of stuff, because I am only one and I couldn't separate my times like that, you know. So yeah, that's the thing.
So in that answer you just gave, one thing you slipped in there is that you have a fiance.
Actually, I just said fiance because okay, I'm gonna explain this. We were friends. It's been like 10 years now, and he is also doing those kind of like work, revolution involved in the revolution. He was also from the armed force, People Defense Force, and also like we walked this journey together. So after we reached over there in the jungle, we faced a lot like airstrikes, and it was like almost one step away to die and stuff like that. So we realized like we could be married, especially like we didn't even think to marry in our life. Like we were like just like we can just date each other and just go with that forever, because like we didn't really believe in the paperwork, marriage certificates and anything else legally, because like even if you marry someone, in some cases like they're gonna go apart, and without paperwork or with paperwork, it doesn't matter. So we didn't really believe in that. So we didn't really want to marry to each other. But after we were facing like a lot of those stuff, like, and also the teens just want to celebrate, because like they didn't really have a party over there. The things is like very funny. They didn't really have a party over there. They didn't get have a chance to drinks, beer or anything else. So they were like also like the guys like from my team, they were like always like finding a reasons to get a party, like throw a party. So they were like saying like, hey, you two knew each other for a long time. And in the love life, you were very okay. So what if like, why not you didn't marry to each other? Because like we went to throw the party. So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter, because we knew more about life is short, and we live once after we get it over there in that area, because anytime we can die. And now we're laughing here, and after 5 minutes, the airplanes can come, and we can all vanish. So, they just want to do like some kind of like join things and, throw a party and stuff like that. And, we were like in a very good relationship, and we understand each other. So why not? It's like, let's get a new experience. That's it. It doesn't mean like, husband and wife or anything like that. Now we are together, and even in here we are together, and we are like friends. We are like, brother and sister, and sometimes we are like lovers. And, above all, like we are more like comrades to each other, because we work together. Now here with me, and we are together. Yes.
Yeah, right. That's great. So then after this 4 months, you then, in your introductory opening on this discussion, you mentioned that you ended up leaving the PDF to then want to become a medic with FBR. So talk about that experience.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the thing is like even in the Free Burma Rangers, like we were not really official rangers over there. So we had a team in the one village. And, whenever the FBR needs help in their rescue team, we joined them. That's it. So I wasn't really joined, because like, the things is like, I really went over there because I wanted to. But my body condition, physically, and my mental condition, they are not allowed to do such kind of things. So I wasn't really able to do the kind of big mission and stuff like that. But when we go like humanitarian projects, like going to the villages and giving like the things and and supporting them and stuff like that, I followed, and do the things. But in such kind of rescue mission in the front line, I wasn't able to make it. And now, all of my friends and my team over there stay working on it, and they were like a freelance volunteering and helping people in the villages and this kind of area, and sometimes they are going the rescues with the FBR. But for my condition, medical condition, that's why I just came here and just have a rest for a little while, and then, after that, and if I'm getting better in my health condition, I'm gonna, have an order what I need to do and where I need to go, and I will go back. Whenever the order comes, I have to wait for the order from my team. Yeah, we have a team leader. Like we got a network, like 33 Society. So 33 Society have a network organizer, and they were like a lot of things doing that, like humanitarian projects and like a rescuement and stuff like that. So my network organizer asked me to do something, I'm gonna take the order and do things. So I don't really know where is my next destination, but I still have to go.
So you're planning to rest up and then go back into the conflict.
Sure.
And what will you be doing? In what capacity will you be serving?
Actually, like over there, like I have a lot. Over there, they really need a lot of management in the back line. Most of the guys, if most of the guys go to the front line, there will be like need like a paperwork, and even in some humanitarian projects they need women, and I also have done the medic training, so I knew a little bit, not very much like a medical person, but I knew like a combat medic, so I can help them in the villages and in that area, where we go. Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Do you have some anxiety? Are you excited about it? Because that's going into that kind of conflict area. That's quite something to contemplate.
So I was like, I am like now, just trying to, especially the things is that I have, I am very emotional person. So whenever I heard that, my team and, my comrades suffer over there, they were like calling me, hey, there was an airstrike today. We were like running like dogs and stuff like that. I really, feel it. I felt like now I am a part of the team. Yeah. And, I am just going back to my normal life and, having a comfortable life. And the other comrades, they are my comrades, they are suffering over there, and they're gonna need my help. Like, I can do like if someone got an injury, I can just help them. And in the villages, wherever we go, I can teach the kids, and also in the back line, I can do the management for, like finance, fundraising, and some other paperwork, so they can just go to the front line freely, Now, because I am here, like they have to do like back and forth, they have to do the fundraising, they have to do the documentations, and, even like they have to go for the rescuement and, go to the front line, everything, like, they are like full of hands, a lot in their hands. So, so as I am very emotional person, whenever I'm hurt, like they are suffering and they are struggling, I couldn't really sit in the city and, getting comfortable anymore. I just, whatever happened, I want to be together.
So you feel a responsibility to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can be together, even if we die in the airstrike, we can be together, not like, I'm just being comfortable here and they are struggling. That's not really my idea,
Are you afraid of being in conflict or of injury or even death?
I'm not really afraid of that, I can say, because like for my opinion and my ideology is like, in the end, everybody will die, and once I die, I won't remember anything and I won't know anything, it just vanish and disappear everything. The being of me. But I'm really afraid of I got injured because it will be hard. And I couldn't feel the pain. Yeah. So, rather than getting injured, I want to die, at the point, that would be better. I didn't really get a pain or, getting harmed. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. If we zoom out of your personal experience that we've been talking about so far and we look at now, again, nearly half a decade into the revolution against the military junta, as well as a revolution for a new and better Myanmar. What are your thoughts overall about how the revolution's going?
It's not an easy questions
No,
because
it's not. Yeah, I know.
So we're gonna see, because there is a lot of, to be honest, like there are a lot of conflicts, even in the revolutions, like many groups, and also like some people, even in the revolution, some people doesn't really believe in NUG or anything like that, the government. So I don't really know, because we're gonna wait and see. The thing is like the servicemen in the People Defense Force and the other armed force, they are doing their job, and they give their life in the front line, and also some people on the back line, they suffer, they struggle, they just left their original life and getting the struggle over there, to get a better life, not only for them. And for me, like I can say, like I don't need it, I can just go back, or maybe like I just go to the third country and I can have a peaceful life, But I did really a lot, especially like for me, like personally, not, I don't really want to compare with other people, but personally, I have done a lot, and now I'm just still doing it, sitting here. So this is not only for me. This is for generation. This is for other people. This is for poor citizens in the villages, not for the elite people in the cities. So people, the people at the bottom of the pyramids, they are doing their job. So we have to see, like, what will happen next, and the people, at the top of the pyramids, what they are going to do.
Who's at the top of the pyramid?
I mean, like in the revolution, like we can say, like in the revolution, as a pyramids, like there will be like decision-making person over there on the top, and at the bottom, like there will be like frontline defenders and comrades and stuff like that. We all are doing our jobs on the ground, but in the revolution pyramids, there will be like decision maker and stuff like that, or maybe like NUG or anything else on the top. So we're gonna wait and see. We are giving our lives, our comrades are giving their lives, and we're doing our best, at the bottom. So what will they do on the top?
Do you have confidence in those top decision makers?
Not really, I can say that, because we can see a lot of conflicts, and we can see some things doesn't really go as the way we think before. So yeah.
What would you like to see from them that would give you confidence?
So they have to be like really, really listen to the voices of the defenders on ground. They do suffer a lot. They maybe like, as we say as army and armed force, maybe like they need weapons, or maybe like they need like a lot of things. So those people have to listen to them carefully and fulfill it, instead of going around the world and, doing the meetings, and stuff like that. They have to come on ground to that area and listen to them, or maybe like they do the specific and proper help, even, revolution needs a lot of money. Without money, we couldn't do anything. Yeah.
So you would like to see those decision makers going to the ground more often, maybe making listening tours of those that are on the front lines, and doing more to provide them what they need. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct. Actually, like I wanted to say that no offense, and I didn't like really spreading a hate speech of them. I just talk about what I have seen, and there are like a lot of conflicts. I heard So like I just wanted just like advices to them, not just no offense, and this is not hate speech. They have to understand that because they are decision makers, and you know they are, they are presenting the revolution, you know, in many ways. So they have to really listening to the people voices, and you know they have to take care of their jobs. That's it. I just want to talk about it, not like hate speech at all.
Sure. Yeah. Wonderful. You've also talked about, you know, in the path that you've chosen, you've described the two kind of themes and how I hear you describing it. You've talked on one sense of a certain kind of responsibility that you've taken on, that you still hold, and on the other hand, you've also talked about the sense of joy, that there's a sense of joy in doing it. So I'd like to invite you to expand on both of those themes, as well as to tell us if there are other emotions that are associated with this experience of the path you've chosen.
That this is like homesick. After you beyond those kind of feelings, the other one is like homesick, because I am the youngest one in my family, and my family really loves me so much, and I love them, and I don't really know like when we were able to reunite again, and they are, I'm always afraid because of my action. I'm on the screen talking about revolutions and talking about human rights and stuff like that, and on the media and stuff like that. Because of my actions, I'm really afraid of those all kind of things affecting them. So this is one of my biggest things in life. But now we don't really connect to each other anymore. I don't really know where are they, and they don't really know where I am right now. So maybe like it will be okay, and maybe like one day we can just get reunite again in the future. I really hope so. And the other things is like I feel really sorry for the people who are suffering, and even though in border area like Mae South, a lot of people, they just like came for many reasons, like migrants people, refugees people, like they suffered a lot, and sometimes like they don't really have anything, and and some of my people, like they just ask me a lot, whenever like I open my social media account, like Telegram or something like that, they just ask like, hey, could you give me some pocket money? We don't really have anything to eat, and stuff like that. So I have my limit, to be honest. Like after I helped like 2-3 people, I couldn't really help many more, because my budget is limited and I'm not really working right now. So, but I can see like a lot of struggles, and they are suffering. So I feel very sorry for them. And for me, like to my comfort, I couldn't really get comfortable. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. I'm anxious, but thankfully, like I got a cat, and that black cat, it helped me a lot. And going through.
What's the name?
Awu. Awu is like the first sound I heard from him. Like he was like very small. Like he sounds like like that. So I just took him and named him Awu. Like that,
Do you feel that you have been making a great sacrifice for all of these actions that you've been doing the last few years?
Not really, because like whoever, like some people, like they just text me and telling me like, thank to you because you have done all of this, the things that we couldn't do. We want to do, but we have job, we have family to feed on and stuff like that. That's why we couldn't really join the kind of work, maybe like in the villages or jungle or anything else. Like, so they text me like that. So the only answer I reply to all of them is like, don't thank me, I'm just doing what I want to do. I told you like I am emotional person, I just prefer my feelings. So whenever like I feel like doing it, I just done it. So it doesn't mean like I'm very like having like humanitarian spirit or any spirit, anything like that. I have, I just, first of all, I like to travel. And then, I feel like, oh, I don't want to sit like that. I want to do something. So I have done that. That's it, It's just for my joy and for me to feel okay and for me not to feel like survivor guilt or any guilty like that. That's why I'm doing for myself. So I didn't want to mention it's like sacrifice or anything like that. Now I'm guilt-free, I guess. I can say that.
It's a good feeling, huh?
Yeah, before that, I was like in the city and I was like seeing all of my friends, struggling and suffering in the jungle and doing like, giving their life and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I'm sitting here in my room, my business is doing good, even in the dictatorship. So I felt like guilty. So now it's like guilt-free.
Feels great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah. So switching topics, I know that there's the diaspora, for the large parts of the diaspora, as well as those that are in the country that are not actively taking part in the armed part of the revolution. They're supporting the resistance in many ways, many different ways, instead of being on the front lines. And there's many ways that people do that. However, there's also a smaller minority of people who are supporting the other side, who are not taking part in the armed aspect of the military, but or even the Pew Sortie, that maybe not in the violent part of the military, but they are sympathizers or apologists or supporters or propagandists or something, and they have some capacity. So talk about your experience and your concern with the prevalence of these military supporters.
Yeah, because I can see a lot of, some people like they don't really support military or dictatorship, but they just live on their life continuously like nothing happens. So people can say I'm selfish, or something like that, but, I just want them to focus on and heard voice from the villages a little bit, So they have some people I know that some of my friends like, they can make money quite well. And, when I ask like, hey, could you just, donate some of the kids, for the school stuff, like stationaries or something like, when they saw me, they were like, talking to me is dangerous or anything like that, and they don't really talk to me. Or is it okay like if they don't want to talk to me? But the thing is like they don't really want to support, even to the refugees, So we have to spread love and helping hands, They have to know that, how is our country going on. It's not a rich country, it's not a developed country, we are very poor. Our people are very poor, So when they have anything like, maybe like they can share education, they should have to do that, even a little bit of their time, or the money or the effort. I just want them to do a little bit, to make a move, not to support the war, not to support the armed force. It's free, like it's brutal, I know, the war and everything is like very brutal and cruel. So it's okay, like they don't want to support them, but they can support the refugees, the product of war,
And you're saying that there's acquaintances or maybe former friends that they're hesitant to want to do anything to support the incredible urgent need of humanitarian efforts. What's your thought behind that lack of action? Is it selfishness? Is it fear? Is it just not wanting to be involved and turn the other way? What's driving that apathy?
One of my former friends, like, she told me that no, she doesn't really want to involve in the politics stuff. So it's clear for her. But I think like most of the people, they don't really experience anything. That's why they don't really see with their eyes, like how's life over there, the kids and the people, the villagers, because me, like, I have seen them in my eyes. I have touched them. I have talked to them. So I knew like all of their suffering and stuff like that. So I can, feel the way they felt. But for the former friends from the city, they don't really know. They don't really feel. They don't have the society or environment like that in their surroundings, and they have never been to the villages like that. They haven't even heard about the airstrikes, the engine rents, and even airplanes are like beautiful things for them, but not the same as for the villagers, and for the people the other side.
So these aren't people that are actively supporting the military or pro-military. They're people that just don't want to be involved, don't want to care. They call it all politics and they sit out. Is that right?
Yeah, I can say like there is two types. One type is like they are not pro-military supporters, but they just live on their lives, And the other one is like a pro-military supporter. In my former environments, like because of the career and because of their professional work, like they have to deal with them a little bit or anything, so they couldn't really cut them off. Because if they cut them off, like their professional career will like anyhow just destroyed or something like that. They couldn't really make much money like before. So that's why that's why they couldn't really cut them off.
Right. Regarding that first group, it reminds me there's a movie that came out last year by Alex Garland that was called Civil War, and it's about the premise is that there's a conflict in America and there's civil war in America, and every town is kind of fighting and battling in different militias, and there's a group of journalists that are traveling through the United States and going from kind of one town to another, each of which has its own conflict and its own militia. And then they go into one town and everything's just really peaceful, and they don't seem to be touched by conflict. And when one of the reporters asks someone in a shopkeeper, how are you able to avoid all this conflict going on? There's just a response of something like, well, that's just what those people over there are doing. We just don't want to be involved in that. We're just not in politics. And, that was a scene where as someone as myself who's been so involved from a distance, but, very involved since in the Myanmar conflict and with all of these stories, that scene really stood out in profundity and relevance of how I've seen different people engage in Myanmar, and imagining a land, in this case the United States, just torn by conflict and militias in every town, and then just the having this one town just say, well, we just don't want to be involved. That's their mess. And it's happening all around them, but they're just living in this kind of fabricated ignorance of an imagined reality that they're just going to pretend it's not happening because they just don't want to be involved in it. But there are airstrikes and killings and militias and everything happening all around them. They just want to close their eyes to it. So
yeah. Because like everyone has to be aware of, because like the military and dictatorship is not really easy as they think. The danger can come to them anyhow at any time, even if they are living in the big city, So they have to be aware of those things. And the other things is like from our side, they just underestimate the military, especially psychologically. So military Myanmar military gender can do a lot of propaganda and stuff like that. But we were like thinking like, oh, they are so crazy, they are so stupid. We underestimate them. And we just make joke and laugh about them and stuff like that. But sometimes, what we have to know is that they have a excess structure, and they are exactly building what they want as the military, and they do have a lot of weapons and money, and we are lacking everything. And so even for like psychologically, we have to do like some kind of like counter propaganda to them. And it's not for the bad things, but to just acknowledge the people that how dictatorship is bad and gender is not really good, and you know how they have them is lacking of the humanitarians and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like we also need to do like many counter propaganda to the people, especially pro-military supporters or you know living in the city without regarding anything. So if we can do that, the counter, they might be a little more interested. So I'm just thinking like if we can do through the art, you know, using the art, because like music, songs, you know, and things is like more easy for them to absorb and feel the other pain in the other side. Because whenever like in the news or on the media, we're gonna put like how military have done the airstrike in which villages and how many people died. Nobody gonna read that, you know. But if we can do like more artistic way, it will be like more effective, I guess. This is my personal opinion. Yes.
It's incredible for me to think that after all these years and indeed all these decades of military atrocities, crimes against humanity, genocide, corruption, terror, mafia-like tactics, et cetera, on and on and on, that this military has committed. It's incredible for me to think that even Bamar people, even in urban areas, need any kind of convincing that this military is everything that we know it is. It's incredible to me that, you know, that not everyone is yet convinced of that. But I think it's also, it's so important that you say this because we need to understand the nuance as outsiders. And I think that sometimes we can, you know, we can look at it in more black and white terms, and you know, to be reminded that there's some degree of the military's propagandizing that works at some level, and we have to look at how it's working, because of course there are people who are pro-military and military sympathizers, but that's not the only way it works. It's not just that you try to win supporters and get supporters on your side. That's too simplistic, you know, and this is what like Russia and Putin have shown, is that sometimes it's just enough to confuse people enough to make them feel they don't know what to think, or to make them feel both sides are doing this and that, or to feel that things are messy, or to feel they just don't want to be involved. Because of course, from the military's point of view, to gain military supporters, that's the ultimate advantage. But that's not the only benefit. If they at least just make things a bit too scary, a bit too messy, a bit too unclear, that people just decide, well, this is just too much for me, I can't figure it out, that's a win in and of itself. And so you're painting this picture of this this gradation of, and this nuance of, you know, people that are, you know, it's not that you just have people that are pro-revolution and pro-military. The middle ground is very important, and that middle ground is Bamar and it is urban.
Yeah. And we have to do like through the art is like more effective, I guess, because you know, like if I go to someone like a maybe pro-military supporter or anyone, I tell like, do you know that people are dying over there in the villages because of the airstrikes? Like they were like, what are you saying? You know, and I don't really want to hear you and something like. But if I let them listen to one song, the outcome will be different. You know, maybe like they can feel through the melody or through the lyrics or stuff like that. You know, it will be more effective if we use the art. You know, to go through. Yeah.
Art has a different power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I thank you so much for taking the time and joining us and sharing so many different things for us to contemplate about your opinions about the revolution, as well as your own personal journey.
I just want the people to listen more carefully, you know, about the people on the other side, you know, for the revolution. For the people who is working in the revolution and involved in the revolution, they have to really taking care of listening to the pro-military supporter side, like why they are supporting military and stuff like that. We have to understand, and for the other people, you know, also like they have to listen to our side, like why we are doing that. This is not personal. This is for the many civilians in the country and the change for people, for another generation. So we have to listen to each other. So we're gonna get more strength, and people were more involved, and we're gonna get I can say like we're gonna get more strength in the revolution. Yes.
I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Longtime listeners occasionally ask me how we're able to feature such a diverse array of guests, including some who rarely speak in the kind of depth that they do on this platform. The answer? Patience. Because we're not a conventional media outlet, we don't demand that our guests conform to our deadlines. Instead, we adjust to them. This means that some of the guests you've heard took us months, and in some cases even years, until they really felt ready to come on and share their stories. For us, the comfort level and safety is an essential pillar of our platform. But this commitment also means that it can take quite a bit of sustained work on our end to produce the results that will eventually stream so effortlessly into your earbuds. While this is no easy task, it's one that we are deeply committed to. But we can't keep it up without your support. So if you've benefited from the wide range of interviews we've been able to offer and think this may be something of a net good to the world, please consider making a contribution to help us along, as we'd like to be here for the long haul. InsightMyanmar.org/donation has all the information you need to learn about our donation options.